Hey everybody, this is Master Trainer Brad. So today I wanted to dive into different promo cards, and the reason why I want to dive into promo cards is because it seems like so many people out there are misinformed with where you find the promo cards, how to even get them. I heard one video that somebody had said, well, if you had $10,000, you can keep pulling packs until you find this card. But the problem was it was a promo card. So you can spend $1 million on packs. Unless you're buying the box that the promo card's in, you're not going to find the promo card, right? Unless there's a big issue that Pokemon did. So one of the things I wanted to do today is just to go over some of the different ways and different ways to play promo cards. And promo cards has kind of been one of my favorite plays, other than doing sealed product. One of my favorite ways to play the Pokemon market, right? Because it always seemed to me like, okay, if you can only buy this product in a particular product, right? So if you only buy this one card in this Charizard EX box, let's say, then how many of these Charizard EX boxes were made, or you know what I mean? And so when you start looking at some of that, it really can help you understand kind of how many are out there. And over time you kind of learn that there's cycles and there's booms and busts and everything else, depending on where the card's located and whatnot. So we'll go ahead and dive into that. I was going to talk about some Mega Evolution ones, but the more I've thought about it, the more I've kind of decided to go more towards the Scarlet Violet promo cards, just simply because there's more of them, and then also on top of that, they have a lot more. They have more price, history, so I can show you. So this website here is just TCGPlayer. And so if you scroll down with each generation, you will see one that says promo, right? And so like this one says Mega Evolution promo. You would just click shop now. For this one, we're going to come down to the Scarlet Violet promo. And again, Sword and Shield would have the same thing. Would say Sword and Shield promo. Sometimes there'll be a picture there. Sometimes there won't be. And then just shop singles. And then from here, I always sort my price from high to low. Just makes it easier. Sort it however makes sense to you. And then of course, sometimes you'll see different prices in bold here, and that basically just represents a price. So like this for $4.98 for the Pikachu Gray Felt Hat. This is probably some Chinese version card that's probably super damaged or something. And so that's one thing to keep in mind when you see some of these. I would look more at the market price, which is factoring more than just their sales. That's what I would kind of base a lot of it off of, more so than anything else. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at this. So like 145 here, this might be for the Chinese version of this card or the Japanese version of this card, right? So when you kind of understand that, or it could be it could be the English version, it could be damaged, right? And so now this section right here is filtered out to just English, so keep that in mind. But there is, if you're on your phone, there is a way to accidentally include like Japanese cards. So it should be pretty obvious when you look at the front of the card. Just keep that in mind though overall. So without further ado, we're going to dive into some of this. And so for the topic of this conversation, because non-Pokemon Center ones are much more affordable, I'm just going to mainly talk about those ones. The rules kind of still apply with Pokemon Center ones. Obviously, inventory levels are going to be much different because they don't make near as many Pokemon Center ones, as people know, right? They're a lot more rare to get. So the same rules are going to apply with Pokemon Center ones. Actually, it might even be even more bullish on Pokemon Center ones, and that's part of the reason why you'll see prices are a lot higher too, just because there's a lot less of them. So one of the cards I first wanted to pull up here was, of course, the Charmander, and I was buying this card for low, under $10. Under $10. I was buying. You could buy it all day for under $10. So this card, I know this card came in the Obsidian Flames ETB. Okay, so Obsidian Flames, which is a regular set, not a special set, regular set. The set was seen as trash because it was too easy to pull Charizards, is what the quote-unquote internet says about it. I still enjoyed opening the packs. I thought it was a great, fun experience. My kids loved opening the packs. I mean, well, in all fairness, they love opening any packs. But I thought this Charmander was super cute. right? Totally reminds me of my kids, you know, maybe they're cleaning the house, maybe they're grounded, whatever. And they're pushing their face against the glass and watching other kids, you know, in this example, obviously it's Pidgeys, but other kids basically play, right? Now, obviously in this, it's funnier being that it's Charmander and, you know, he could blow fire and eat them if he wanted to, but this is Pokemon, so let's not talk about that. So, anyways, you know, hilarious card, super cute card, right? You know, any of the collectors that love multiple Pokemon on their card are gonna love this card, right? Because obviously you see Pidgey also, multiple Pidgeys in this card. Now, this card is a great example of one thing, and the one thing is when you have Pokemon that are collectible, in this example Charmander, on these promo cards, that adds a level of desirability to that card. That matters, okay? The Pokemon you have on the promo card definitely matters. And you'll see that in a little bit. When you have a Pokemon card that is of a Pokemon no one cares about, that matters, okay? It definitely matters. And that will kind of determine some of how that card will do in the long run, okay? Because while, I'll add the last topic in a little bit, expand on it. But, so I still have my multiple copies of this card. Honestly, I'm expecting this card to have another leg up very soon. You know, the G block, which is, you know, the block that include 151, that include Obsidian Flames, just is going out of print this month. Or I should say going out of the TCG this month as far as playability. So should be, you know, should see less of them. Although Obsidian Flames, as it wasn't really being hardly reprinted anyways, at least that I've seen. So, you know, people were ripping these packs like crazy, you know, ripping all this stuff open to try to get these Charizards from the Obsidian Flames. But overall, love the promo card, right? Beautiful artwork, beautiful Pokemon involved in it. Super cute picture, everything kind of lined up for it to really be bullish, okay? And like I said, this is just one example, okay? This is just one example. But like I said, the cheapest one is you're looking at about $70 right now, right, after shipping. So next one I'm going to jump to here is, of course, the 151 box ETB, right? This is Snorlax from the ETB of 151. And funny enough, this one also includes the Pidgey sleeping, you know, on the stomach. So I guess the Pidgey is a very popular sidekick apparently, as far as popularity wise. So, but and of course you get the little Diglett here, you know, coming up to him. Hilarious artwork, right? Again, Snorlax is a popular Pokemon, not as popular obviously as like Charizard and Charmander, some of those, but still a very popular Pokemon, right? Desirability for Snorlax is still there, let's just say, right? But this is a card that was in the 151 ETB, okay? And this is a card, so this is a card that was in a special set, right? 151's a special set, ETB. What does that mean? That means that the only way that the Pokemon Company, was going to produce packs for 151 was by pumping them out through the ETBs. Okay? The booster box bundles also are popular now that they're really pumping them out, right? Because they're small, they're easy to ship, yada, yada, yada. But still, the ETBs are one of the primary ways that they also pump out cards for special sets. So just understand that, okay? Understand that is there's no booster boxes. There's no booster boxes. So if they're trying to reprint a certain amount of packs overall, they're going to funnel a lot through the ETBs. Now, why does that matter for Snorlax? That means Snorlax is being created that many more times, guys. Okay? That means there will be that many more Snorlaxes. Now, you'll see in a little bit, that matters. Again, Pokemon that they selected matters. Snorlax, still desirable. But it matters how many they make for that set. Okay? For that set, it definitely matters. So, right now, this card is sitting at around $26, it says. Let me see. Yeah. First one, English, $25, right? If you want a sealed one still, which is actually, I'm surprised this one's sealed and only at 26. That's pretty cheap, actually. Only have 4 of them. Interesting. So, yeah, but definitely desirable set, definitely desirable card overall. People would say, yeah, but it wasn't that long ago, Brad, and this, this card was $11 during Christmas. So why should I buy it now at 25? No, you don't have to. You don't have to, obviously. But one thing you will see is especially with this card is when these special sets have these ETB dumps, right? Expect the price of these cards to also come down because you just added a bunch more liquidity to the market because you add a bunch more cards. Okay? So then the card market for this Snorlax, then the buyers of the Snorlax have to pick up that extra availability, right, in order to keep the price the same, which never really happens. It's going to come down some, okay? And that's just kind of normal. That's just the way it is, so expect it, okay? Really wasn't that long ago. A simple year ago, you could have got this card at $5-6. Seems absurd, right? $5-6, and now it's at 30. It just seems crazy. Definitely a great move. Okay. And again, some of it with this card, again, was ETB started running, right, for 151. The whole 151 set started running. This is in the ETB. So naturally, when the ETB is appreciating in price, this card should, in theory, be also appreciating in price some, right? Might not be a crazy amount, but it definitely should be going up some, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. So one of the questions I have, I've seen a lot of from people, and I still get this, is people ask me, how do I find some of these boxes, right? Or how do I know where to get these promo cards from, right? I don't get it. So one of the things I always tell people is go to Google. Google is your best resource for it. You can type it in and look it up and see. For example, I typed in here, what promo cards came in Black Bolt ETB? That's all you have to do, right? And then AI for Google will take over, and it tells you here, right? Oh, it came with this Thunderous, illustration rare promo card. Bingo, right here. So this promo card came in the Black Bolt ETB, right? Now, Black Bolt, the reason why I'm pulling out Black Bolt and in a second White Flare is because this is another special set, right, that came out, towards the end of the Scarlet Violet block, as people know. But this is a card that came out in the ETB special set. Special set means they're going to be massively reprinting it. Okay, there's going to be a lot of ETBs coming out. Okay? Keep that in mind. That matters. Again, no booster boxes, so that matters. So, with that being said, again, not desirable Pokemon. Check. So the Pokemon's not desirable. Massively printing it because it's in the ETB. Check. So, what does that mean? That means there should be heavy downwards pressure, especially in the beginning. Why? Because people don't want this card. It's not desirable, so a lot of collectors are not going to want it, right? They'd rather just take the few bucks and be on their way, right? They don't want to sit on it. So a lot of collectors don't want it. And like I said, overall, it's in a product that they're going to be reprinting massively, right? Along with the booster box bundles, both of them, right? They're going to be massively reprinting it. That matters, okay? That matters. So when you know that there is some of this coming down the pike where literally you have it where it's a product that's going to be massively reprinted and keeps showing up in stores constantly, boom, 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 all the time, every few months, you'll see them come to the stores constantly. And there is not a lot of buying pressure because it's of a Pokemon that people don't really care about. You will have heavy downwards pressure, and your up pressures will not be that strong, okay? Unless Pokemon does something else with that Pokemon really cool at a later date that then will cause it to massively start pumping, right? Like if they came out with a video game, let's say Pokemon came out with a video game, and Thundurus was like your main primary Pokemon that you started with, and the Pokemon game was super popular, right? Then yeah, this card will all of a sudden start ripping and go to the moon, right? But the odds of that happening is pretty much zero, right? Let's be real here, right? The odds of that happening is maybe not zero, but you know what I'm saying, very, very low. So this card, I would expect to not go that crazy. Now, is this card a $2 card? Maybe right now, just because they're going to be massively reprinting it. But once Black Bolt goes out of print, I'm sure this card could easily be a $10 card, right? $12 card, sure. Because once this stuff goes out of print, they can't keep reprinting it. Then this card will be a promo exclusive that was only available in a product that's not being reprinted. So that means, in other words, all of the cards have already been released, and some people are keeping sealed product in their closets, everything else, right? Unfortunately, now that's more of a thing. When I was doing it, people weren't really doing that, but they definitely are doing it more now. But again, with this card and with rip and shippers and everything else, the massive way to rip and ship Black Bolt White Flare is by buying the ETBs and the booster box bundles, right? And so when you buy them to get all the packs out for them to rip and ship it all, they're releasing this product on the market. So keep that in mind, like I said. So would I expect a more massive price dump on this card? No, I don't. Not unless there's another massive reprint right now, which I think they have more important other sets that they want to reprint coming up. Not this set personally, especially since this set's not even a year old yet. But yeah. Look, I mean, geez, during early December, this card was as low as $1. That's absurd. I do have some copies of this guy. Nothing crazy though. Now, will I take a bigger position in it? Probably. Just because I like the set, and the set definitely holds value as far as Black Bolt White Flare. And some of these special sets, they are, some special sets are really popular, especially the special ones. So I don't mind the set as much, but I'm not going to go crazy on this card because I don't see this card as being super valuable. I still want some, right? Just because I think the artwork overall, I might not like the Pokemon, but I can think the artwork's pretty cool, right? And so I might want a couple, but nothing crazy, right? And again, like I said, what promo cards came in the White Flare ETB? Tells you right here for you. This is not always accurate, especially if it's a card that comes in a lot of packs. Like if you typed in, what promo cards or what box did Charizard EX come in, it's going to give you probably the wrong answer, let's just say, of the card you're looking for. It's probably going to be the wrong answer, just so you know. And of course, here's the White Flare version, right? Again, same thing. Card that's been seen as very low value, right? This card's still at $1 and change for the near mint copy. Still seems absurd to me that it's this cheap. Will I get more of them, more than a couple I already have? Yes. Why? Because at $1 or something, I mean, honestly, it's hard not to, especially if you can find some that are cheap that also have many copies to buy. All these only have one, except this guy has two. If I see one that has like 10, I might just go ahead and just get 6, 7, 8, whatever, and go from there and just call it a day. But definitely a card that is popular. Now, this might also be a good card to look for. These cards can also be a good play for graded cards too, right? But keep in mind, with graded cards, it's the same way as there's a very unique way to trade the graded card market that's different than the raw market, right? So you have to understand there is a difference. And the more layers you add of complexity, the more market forces can change stuff, okay? So just keep that in mind. But is this a bad price to be buying some? No, this is a great price to be buying some, right? Under $2 is a great price to be buying some. Again, cool artwork, right? The actual artwork overall, cool artwork. Is this card going to be a $100 card? No, it's not going to be a $100 card. I would probably bet you on that. But it doesn't need to be a $100 card, right? You're buying under $2. Just this card, if you bought, 5 copies of this card, let's say, you bought 5 copies, let's pretend, goes to $10, and you sell one, look, your 4 copies are now free, right? So there was one card I was kind of surprised when I was scrolling through the different promo cards here, because I totally forgot about this card. And it's a beautiful card, but I forgot what box it came in. So what I did was I just copied the title, right? Let me show you what you can do here. Is let's say, so again, Pikachu, this is going to tell you the wrong one. If I go to Google and type in what set or what box did Pikachu 027 come in, it's going to give me the wrong set. I'm just telling you that right now. It's going to give you the wrong, it's probably going to give you the wrong one, right? Just because, again, Pikachu's such a popular box here. So let's see. Lapras is a good example, right? So I love this card. I have it. I have this one pulled up too, right? Again, because let's just say you don't remember what boxes came in, right? Lapras EX 164. All I did was, like I said, is just grab this, copy. That's it. That's it. What box? So right, typed it in. What box did it come in? Enter. It tells you right here, right? Ultra Premium Collection. Okay. So again, once you understand some of this and you understand where these products come from, it's going to tell you how common these are to be able to buy them, right? And if you should be buying them. I love this card. I love Lapras in general. He's one of my, not my number one Pokemon, but he's definitely top 10 for me. Him and Gyarados, I think, are awesome water Pokemon. But check out the 1 year charts, right? This card was, I want to say, I definitely got my first one because I love the gold look. I definitely got the first one below $5. Definitely. I've gotten some since then. I want to say it was in here. No, it was in February. Yeah. I'm going to be probably getting more of them, but it's only because I'm more also on a gold kick. I kind of feel like a lot of these gold cards are undervalued, especially for how hard they are to pull. And I think that popularity of these gold cards are only going to pick up with time. I think kind of the market's mistreating them personally. No, I'm not touching the newest gold cards, right? That are like several $100s. I'm not buying those, but some of these other ones that have cool Pokemon like Lapras here, and the fact that it's a promo card even better. So and one thing to keep in mind too is, like I said, is if you're looking at this card and you're like, okay, it's $8 and change, right? Go look and see what the PSA 10 version of this card is. I haven't looked personally, so I can't speak to that. But if I look at the PSA 10 version, and let's say that the PSA 10 is $150, let's just say $150, okay? Look up what the gem rate is. And if the gem rate is really bad, that can tell you something, okay? And just because the PSA 10 version of the card is a certain price, it should matter what the price is versus the raw value, right? There was a card recently I'd seen, and you could buy the raw card. I don't remember exactly what card it was. It was a promo card though, and the promo card was around $5, and the PSA 10 version, the cheapest one was like $165, and I was like, that's absurd. I'm not paying that. I'd rather buy a bunch of the raw cards and then just sit on them and wait, right? Because again, desirable Pokemon, right? And it's a promo card, so it's only going to be coming out when the box comes out, whatever that box is, right? That matters. And again, one thing to keep in mind too with promo card, especially with promo cards, what product is it coming out? That matters. Are you getting this promo card in a check lane blister? Because if you are, they're probably going to have so many of those cards, right? So that Pokemon better be a super desirable Pokemon, right? That should be like the coolest Pikachu looking thing, right? It better be. Otherwise, that card is going to never go up in value. It's going to stay cheap, okay? I'm just telling you this right now. Is the card, is the card coming in, like a great example is the Charizard UPCs, right? Those promo cards are going to have a great value. Why are they going to hold so much value? Because it's a Charizard for starters, one of the most popular Pokemon, especially value-wise. And on top of that, it's in a UPC. So you're already setting the floor so high, they're only going to remake so many of those. Does that make sense? So when you start looking at that, understand exactly what you're looking at, guys. Think about what's the odds they're going to make more of these? What's the odds they're going to make, another great example is somebody I knew was loading up on some of these promo cards from a set that had just released, but it was like ripping up a bunch, right? Like crazy. And I told him, I said, why? You know that they're going to reprint those soon, right? Well, yeah. Okay, so why are you loading up on it right now? Just wait, or buy a couple and wait. What's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to release more. It's going to come back down to the price you're paying now. I mean, is that the worst? You know what I'm saying? So, just understand what you're doing, what you're buying. If a set is like here's a great example. So, Surging Sparks, right? Surging Sparks, and so I'll show you right here. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's see. What promo card was in Surging Sparks ETB? There you go. Okay? So, now you can look for him. Or, let me pull it up. Blah, blah, blah. Where is it? I had seen him recently anyways. So if you look at some of these cards and you're like, oh, they're going to be retiring soon, right? They're going to be retiring within the next year or, here we go, right? They're going to be retiring within the next, year. That's a great time to be buying some of these guys. When you know they're retiring soon, that means, and they haven't had their pop yet, that means they could so easily have their pop, okay? It really depends on what the market likes. Now, I'll tell you this too. Here's another little pro tip. See how you see this huge spike up to $11? That's kind of telling you the market likes this card, guys. Okay, yeah, the ETB got reprinted in the ground, back down to the fours. That causes card to, the ETB got massively reprinted. It causes card to get pushed down to the ground. That's just the way it is. Okay. But my point is still that once these cards go out of print, once Surging Sparks, which is until next year, it's the H block, right? Once Surging Sparks gets out of print, cards that are desirable will go higher, okay? And a lot of times you will see big moves in some of these cards after they go out of print or in anticipation of that, okay? So keep that in mind, guys. So like I said, for example, with this guy, you see a massive spike. So obviously people were buying it, right? Thinking this card's going to the moon. I love the artwork on it. It's very complex. It's a beautiful looking card, right? Fell all the way down to these massive reprints down to $4. That's my point, right? That's the most perfect time to buy it. At that point, you're about a year and a half from retirement of the set. Had crashed from 11. Like I said, clearly the market liked it, and yeah. So, would I expect this card to go much higher? Probably. I think this is probably going to be an easy $20 card within the next 3 years for sure, right? That's just my personal opinion of it. I don't own any of this card, by the way. I own none of them. But at least as of right now, I don't. I'll probably pick up some at some point within the next 6 months, for sure. But as of right now, I don't have any of this. So, and one example too was, I had stuff like this too, right? So I remember buying this card when it was part of the box, part of a Charizard box for my kid's birthday a couple years ago, 2023. And I remember buying this, and at the time it was $20-$30. You got like 6 packs. But this Charizard now is almost $20. Okay, it's almost hitting $20, which is crazy to me because I remember so long the card wasn't worth jack, effectively, right after they opened it. And when they opened it, yeah, I mean it was when they opened it originally, it was at like $2. It was like a $2 Charizard, right? Which I thought was crazy that it was even that cheap. But I did find the box. It was a little bit harder, but this is a great example of if you go to Google and type in Charizard EX, 056, you're not gonna. It's gonna be super hard to find it. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're looking trying to find some of these cards. This was the box, right? Like I said, you got 6 packs, right? As you see down here. These Pokemon boxes, by the way, if any of you guys don't know this, it'll say on it exactly what it is, right? 6 booster packs is in it, 3 promo cards is in it, card sleeves, and then 1 card protector. It says here. Now, one interesting thing is this, and this card protector is actually pretty cool, right? My kids have left it in the card protector. It's pretty cool, right? The sleeves here. Like I said, they have a Charmander promo, a Charmeleon, so you have the whole evolution promo, as well as, like I said, all the packs, right? And when I was buying this box, like I said, it was like $30 around there, maybe at most 35, but definitely not above that. And now like I said, the Charizard itself is finally starting to climb, right? But again, keep in mind with some of these packs, as these go out of print and whatnot, it's gonna be harder and harder to find these Charizards. Okay, and this is the only place to find this promo Charizard. The only place. Now, does this look like other artworks from Obsidian Flame stuff? Yes, of course it does. But it's not the same. It's still it has the promo stamp still, right? It still has a promo stamp here. You can see it right here at the bottom left. It is a promo card, okay? So keep that in mind. Is some of these cards like this, once those boxes are officially too expensive to rip it, right? Because there's definitely a time, like right now at $100 some odd, you'd probably be crazy by opening it up to rip it, right? So it's probably too expensive to rip it. If you're buying it now, you're buying it to collect the sealed box, right? And to leave it sealed. But this card is only $15. Okay, it's only $15. And so, when you're looking at some of this, just keep that in mind, right? Keep that in mind. And actually, you can get it for, 12 some odd plus, a little shipping, right? Especially if you're looking for multiple, that's actually a good price because then you can get, at least 2 and save a little bit on the shipping part. But my point is still, you have to understand what you're buying, how hard it is to get that product, where do you get that product, right? Where is it even considered inside, right? Where can you get it? But like I said, use Google. Google's your friend. What set? If you see a cool card, what set did it come in? This promo card come in? And it'll tell you, right? It'll tell you exactly how you get it. Oh, it's the ETB, like in this example, right? Oh, this came in the Stellar Crown ETB. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that, right? That's my point. I love this card. Desirable Pokemon? No. Definitely not. Cool artwork? I think so. I think it's cool artwork, personally. Not desirable Pokemon. I know that. Cool artwork. Is Stellar Crown desirable product? Definitely not, I would say. Amongst of a lot of the collectors I've heard, right? Or resellers. Definitely not a super popular set, right? To collect. But is it a cool artwork? Of course. Of course it's cool artwork, right? And my guess is a lot of kids are probably going to love this card, right? It's a cool looking artwork card, personally. And so, when you start seeing some of this and understanding, some of this and knowing, and one of the other things I always tell people too is look at the volume, right? So, for example, this card averages for the last year, it's averaged 17 a day in sales, and it's had over 6,000 sold. Okay, so let me pull up the Lapras. I'm just curious what the Lapras is for the 1 year. 1 year, it's got 1846, so way fewer of them, and it's averaging 5 a day. Yeah, but there's way fewer of them sold. Okay. Now, also obviously, your listing quantities and whatnot matter too, but those numbers can be kind of cooked some because if they're Korean cards or Chinese or other sets, right? So it definitely matters. How about this guy? Let's see. 1 year, look, 9,672 for the last year sold, averaging 26 a day. And look, it only came out in July, guys. That's my point. We're still months away from a full year, and it's already done almost 10,000 of them. How about the Snorlax? Another special set, 15,000. Interesting. So, what does that tell you? So over 15,000 of Snorlax. Mind you, This is 151 set. So this set is literally going into retirement right now, okay? Right now. So that means, in other words, this set is not going to be reprinting these anymore, okay? And it still is at 15,000. That's absurd. These guys have had almost 10,000, and this card hasn't been out a year yet. Man. Oh, of course, this one's over 10. There you go, averaging 28 a day. So what does that mean? That means there are definitely buyers showing up to pick these up under a couple bucks, okay? That should kind of make your skin kind of stand up a little bit and go, wait a minute. And like I said, look for volume. Volume matters, right? This one day right here, there was 172 sold at 145. That matters. Okay, that matters. That means somebody big is buying these cards. Okay, somebody big is. So, and this card's been out since July, and it's already had over 10,000 sold. Right? That also means that the Black Bolt White Flare has been massively reprinting themselves, right? There's been obviously been a lot of ETBs out because just TCGPlayer, this is not even including eBay. This is just TCGPlayer has had over 10,000 of these sold. That's absurd. That's absurd, guys. Absurd. How about Charmander for last year? We'll see what this says for last year. Almost 6,000. Well, I guess that's true. That's only for the last year, though. I guess probably the same thing with Snorlax, right? Only Snorlax, I guess, was that amount, but only for last year. So it's a good thing to keep in mind, especially if there hasn't been a massive price appreciation. On this Charmander, obviously there has been a massive price appreciation, so it's going to slow down a lot of the buyers because, well, I mean, the card's in the 60s now, right? So it's much different than loading up on a card when it's $2, right? That definitely matters. So keep that in mind when you're looking at these. If they're reprinting them soon, expect more dumps. That's just how it works, especially on these guys for Black Bolt White Flare, especially on the promo cards for Mega Evolutions or for any of the rest of these. Expect more reprints, more dumps. If it's a special set, they're for sure coming out with more because they got to put product to market, guys. If it's a regular set, they might not do as many. Why? Because they don't need as many ETBs. They have booster boxes and other products they can put it in, right? Booster bundles is a super popular way for them to sell them too. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at some of these cards. It definitely matters. It matters what pack they're in, what box they're in, everything. The Pokemon themselves matter. If this Pokemon right here, it doesn't matter Black Bolt White Flare, right? The set itself is holding up great in value overall. But if they picked one of these Pokemon to be, like I said, a Pikachu or that kind of thing, right? Massive popularity on it. That'd be massive. So you just got to keep that in mind when you're looking at some of these promo cards. If you see a set come out and the promo is a really cool promo card, right? And you're like, oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, expect everyone else to think the same thing. Why do you think the Charizard promo cards do so well? Because it has such a following, guys. That's why. Such a following. So I came here to Mega Evolutions. Alakazam, great example, right? ETB. Came in ETB. I was buying this card below $10 all day long. No one seemed to care. Well, now it's actually more than double from my cost basis. But that's my point. Alakazam. I don't have a huge position in it. I have some, less than 10, but more than 3. Overall, I've just, see a dip, bought a couple, waited, another dip, buy a couple more, waited. It's a cool looking card. What do you want me to say? It's a really cool card. It's a set people like, right? And so when you're looking at some of these, it matters. It matters with the Pokemon and how popular Pokemon is, which obviously Alakazam is very, very popular, guys. So again, keep that in mind when you look at Abra, Alakazam, Kadabra, all of those, they're popular Pokemon. So when they're a popular Pokemon, same thing with like the Eevee promo card, right? It's a popular Pokemon card, guys. When they stop printing those, that Eevee promo from Scarlet Violet is going to go through the moon. That's just how it works. Because it's a popular Pokemon. So if people want that product, then they're going to have to buy that Pokemon card, right? And there's no other way to get it other than the ETBs from Prismatic for the Eevee one. And so that's my point, is that when you start looking at some of these cards, if they're picking great Pokemon to do it on, that's a sign that you should be buying. So if you have any questions, I know the video ran a little bit longer, definitely ran a little bit longer than I planned. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. My subscriber base has definitely been growing. If you guys have any ideas or any questions about anything, let me know in the comments below. Are you guys loading up on any particular promo card? If so, let me know. And again, thanks for watching. I do have a video plan coming up for more different promo cards that I think are undervalued, promo cards that are undervalued. So keep an eye out for that. But without further ado, that is it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.